Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready? Welcome back to another episode. We're your hosts, Dana
And Sarah.
First off, we want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We value all of the time you dedicate to each and every episode and feedback that you give. Wherever you're listening from, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't forget to share with your entrepreneur friends. Last week, we talked with an amazing guest, Lisa. So if you haven't listened to that, we recommend you going back and listening to that episode. The link will be in the show notes. And as mentioned in the last episode, we'll talk about creativity and productivity, the meaning and why these are important for your entrepreneur journey.
And stay tuned until the end because we got a cool announcement to make.
So let's dive in. So what is creativity and what roles does it play in entrepreneurship? I think every time I talk to an entrepreneur or a professional woman or man, like some sort of creativity just represents itself in a different way. Whether you are in a service-based entrepreneur and you're a realtor, you're a virtual assistant or online business manager like Sarah and I, typically what you see or think of naturally is an artist or a musician. But running a business, balancing personal and professional lives, you have to get uber creative, in my opinion. So it's all about finding new ideas and ways of doing things. And I don't know anything more creative than trying to balance 5 children under the age of 10 with running a business and everything else in between.
Yes, with all that running around and behind the scenes, you have to think of new ways to make the balance more balanced, so to speak. So after all, like businesses are built on new ideas. Entrepreneurs need to be able to see things in new ways and find different ways to solve problems and get to the solutions. You also need to be able to sell like your idea, which requires that creativity. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, you started this business because you had this idea. When you are creative, you have to find different ways to, get out there and put your idea into play. Because obviously, as a business owner, you started somewhere. You came up with this idea, which is creative. You're using your problem-solving skills, again, your creativity skills to be able to come up with a plan and put it into play, which will help you grow and be a successful business owner. And of course, not every entrepreneur is a creative genius, but everybody thinks differently. So no matter what, you will have the willingness to think outside of the box.
I think that's the biggest thing to boost creativity is saying goodbye to the norms. I know when I first launched my business, or really even before that, when I was just thinking about it and was researching all of the different things that I could potentially do from home and have that like balance or just to be more present. Honestly, it wasn't even about balance. In full transparency, I wanted something that would just allow me to have more face time with my children because at the time I was a single mom of 3. And my situation was I was a full-time stay-at-home mom. I was always with my kids. I was always coming up with those Pinterest perfect sensory bins and all of the things. Like we went to the library, went to the park. We had all these little fun field trips. Not that we went like extravagant places, we were on a budget, but I was very involved and intentional with the ways that I spent time with my kids. And so when I was going through a divorce and a separation and trying to figure out something my sister I was really mulling over something my sister said that my oldest, it was almost like he lost both parents because I went from being home all day with him to now I'm working a 9 to 5. I'm out of the house. Like I have to drop them off at school, run to work, hopefully pick them up, but probably someone else is picking them up. And then I get home after 5, almost at 6. And really the only time I have to spend with them is cooking dinner, eating dinner, giving them baths, and putting them to bed to start it all over again the next day, unless it's the weekend. And then thank God, because then I have all Saturday to be intentional. And I really didn't like how that felt being told. So I really started thinking outside of the box of ways that I could work from home or build something that allowed me the freedom to be at home. Even if I have my laptop on the couch sitting next to them, I can still at least take a few brain breaks and like intentionally interact, as opposed to if I was doing like a call center job, it has to be 100% quiet background. So I might as well still be in an office outside of the house. So that level of creativity and research and like really honing in of how am I going to be resourceful enough to make this happen played a big, big role in my journey into entrepreneurship, which that means you started a business. So as you're being creative, what makes your business unique? Really think about that and maybe share that with us in our Facebook group of what makes your business unique. Just because you're a realtor, your company may offer different things. You have a unique workflow of interacting with your homeowners. You went with it. So how are you using your business to push the envelope and think outside the box?
I think a lot of us, when we create something, we think of like, what's your why? Like, why are you starting your business? And Dana gave a perfect example because of family. I too feel as if I would, was more present with my kids, and being able to have that freedom and that availability to my kids once they get home from school, instead of working until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And again, not really spending time with your family. So think when you are creating and building your business, think of your why. Your why could be so many things: because you want the freedom, because you want to travel more, because you have a family. That's how I believe an entrepreneurship mind works, because that's initially why everybody starts a business, is because they don't want to work for somebody else. Some ways that can go into creativity, like we mentioned, out of the box thinking, what makes you unique. Collaborating with businesses that are in the same industries as you, are in different industries, to get different perspectives. Take risks. We all took a risk to start our business, right? Because if you're not going to take a risk, how would you know if it's going to work or not? Work on your listening skills. This is part of your communication skills, active listening, asking questions, because when you are curious, you ask questions, and therefore that builds up to your creativity to help you build the business.
To feed off of that, you don't want to just, when you're asking questions, ask all the questions, even if they seem silly. And then listen to the answer, because you never know what that's going to inspire. When I do coffee chats, sometimes I'll even ask random things that has nothing to do with the services that I offer, just because I want to hear what's going on with you. So I was at a networking, low-key, no-pressure networking coffee thing this morning, more like just caffeinated conversations. And I was like, well, what are you working on this week? Blah, 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 this month. And it was a realtor. And she, instead of focusing on buyers, she's pivoting to focusing on sellers and like how to educate them on like prepping their house before they want to sell. What are buyers looking for right now? Like that changes just as much as like fashion trends do. So learning those things, I can now take that concern or goal and use it in my marketing. If I worked with realtors, let me preface that. And then I can say, are you a realtor wanting to educate sellers before they list their home? Something like that. And then I'm going to attract those, because she's not going to be the only person with that mindset. So now I can tailor my marketing, tailor my conversation starters with those things when I'm meeting new realtors and saying, this is how I can help you by doing these things if this is your goal. So be inspired, be patient. Organic growth, visibility, any business takes time to grow. This podcast is taking time to grow. It can be frustrating, but like using your listening skills to get that inspiration takes time once you start implementing.
There is a statistic that states the first 5 years of your business is going to be the most challenging, only because it's still new. So if you're in your first year and your second year and you're still having challenges, that is okay. Be patient. Remember, go back to your why. Think about like, why did you start your business? And if you have questions, ask those questions. And that's why Dana and I are here, is to help you figure out the next step to where you need to go. And we do also have people in our network that if we can't answer the questions, then we can refer you to somebody else.
I love being a problem solver. Come with all the questions. I'll give you that resource.
It's fun. Like, I am a naturally very curious person, and I ask so many questions because I'm trying to figure out what's best for me. And I think that goes for anybody, because how will you grow? Because if you don't ask questions, you're just going to be stuck.
So we recognize, I think we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but this creativity, these challenges can be tied into productivity. And I feel like this has been buzzing all month. At the time of this recording, it's been 7 days into the month of September, but every single person I've talked to in some way has mentioned struggling with productivity. And there's a lot of methods out there. But that, again, is, I think, being inspired by these techniques is important, but you still have to align it with you. I love the Pomodoro technique, where you work for like 20, 30 minutes, get up, take a brain break, and come back. I even have it set on my watch, where if I sit for too long, it tells me to get up. Because I won't. If I don't have that reminder where it's buzzing my wrist, I'm not going to get up. I'm going to feel stressed that I can't move and take that break that I need to succeed in my day and my goals. So to line that up, set clear goals and priorities. Define the goals for your business that align with your creative vision. I like to reverse engineer. I have my big goal because that's so easy for me to come up with. I daydream so many goals.
Oh, yeah.
Too many goals of that in that sense of, oh, this will be a great idea. I know I can do it. Well, I need to define what that means. So I have this big goal. This is what I want. This is what I want to look like. So I'm in the middle of a rebrand. My goal right now, my clear goal is offering wedding professionals with Pinterest management services. Their clients are getting married and they are very visual. They need to see what their wedding day is going to look like well before it happens. So they need to be on Pinterest. Then prioritize tasks and projects that contribute to those creative objectives. My services, so my tasks and projects are all going to be geared towards right now in the next 12 weeks of building out the packages, defining what each step in the process is. In my case, as an online business manager with a team, I'm now creating training videos or finding those resources to train my team on each and every line item, in a sense, that comes in that package. Whether it's a blog post, a video tutorial, me doing it, whatever the case may be, even as simple as creating a business account on Pinterest for the first time. Because some of my virtual assistants have not done that. Or maybe if they have, I still want to make sure all my bases are covered. Then I'm going to use productivity tools and techniques to stay organized and focused on those priorities. Because as entrepreneurs, as professional individuals, we wear a lot of hats. We're admin, we're HR, we're marketing, we're sales, we're everything. And it sometimes can be difficult to remain focused. So having a productivity tool like a project management platform to set up those tasks and projects so that you can have the bird's eye view, but also the granular level of checking them off is huge. I am switching to Asana. I was using ClickUp. I'm switching to a different platform. As I'm rebranding, it just to me made sense of completely starting fresh and just transferring over only the important tasks so that me and my team stay focused on the things we are doing.
Another way that you can set up productivity is to have a creative workspace. You can create an inspiring and comfortable workspace that encourages your creativity, which means, where do you want to work? Most of us are online. So we either have a home office, some of us go to coffee shops, but in order to stay productive and creative, you can easily be distracted by your work environment. So it would be nice for you to create a space in which you feel comfortable in that will help with your workflow. For me right now, I do work in a home office. Eventually, I would like to get out of this home office because I need to get out of the house to inspire creativity, to help me brainstorm. So typically I would, go outside to help my brain break, as you would say, Tana. Organize your workspace. There are times where I know for myself, my desk will get messy. It's covered in coffee cups and water bottles and papers, but you want to minimize the distractions.
I have Legos on my desk right now and a plethora of stacks of things. But with the organizing your workspace, what I realized that I needed to do with me minimizing distractions is having my desk. I'm in between two windows, thankfully, so I can still look out and not feel cramped. But I definitely had it in a corner so that everything is behind me. I put myself literally in a corner.
Yeah, I'm against the wall too.
So that I don't see potentially the laundry that needs to be folded, sorted, and put away. That needs to come later, maybe during a brain break where I'm actively doing something. I don't see the living room that I could be cleaning up. I don't see the kitchen. I don't see those things because if I do, I'm going to want to get up. And then I'm going to feel stressed at the end of the day that I didn't get work done. And my house is probably still a mess because I have so many tiny humans in it. It's never clean. Even with minimalist living, there's always something on the floor.
Always.
All
the time. Just make sure that you're comfortable in the workspace that you're in, because if you're not, you're going to be distracted. You're going to be overwhelmed. Try to put as less as you can on your desk if possible, so you're not distracted. Another way that creativity and productivity ties in together is collaborating with diverse teams. When you're building a team, to build your team with people that have diverse skills and perspectives. In my opinion, I think it's really cool to be able to work with people that have different perspectives on things, because you can say, I want to do this task this way. And somebody else says, well, I'm not sure how to do it this way. I want to do it this way. Everybody's going to have a different way of doing things, but as long as it gets done, some people are visual learners. Some people like to read. Some people like to watch videos. Again, when it comes back to when you're setting up your tools, how does your team learn? You want to encourage open communication and idea sharing among your team members. Prior episodes, we've talked about communication numerous times. We talked about open door policy. You want your team to feel comfortable enough to come to you. So as the business owner, you're working on something and maybe you're stuck. You're having a creative block or you're not sure of things. Go talk to your team. See what they have to say about, well, maybe you can do it this way. Delegate tasks efficiently to leverage your team's strengths. So if you have a team of 2 people and one person on your team is not capable of doing a certain task because they don't have the skill set, then maybe you would give it to somebody else, give it to the other team member, or you can train that person on the task that you want to assign to them.
I think that's going to be really big for me as I'm rebranding is I am taking the time. I am doing it probably a little slower than everyone else that I know, but I'm taking each client. I pull up all my clients every day, but each day I'm taking one of their tasks and creating a video of how I like to do it and what my clients already expect from me to do so that they can see it, because I feel like me saying it or typing it out is going to just be time consuming and I might miscommunicate something with how I say it. So I'm going to talk about it as I say, show what I'm doing. And I'm doing it for inbox, like checking inboxes and sorting things. I'm doing it for most of my clients use a CRM called Honeybook. I'm going to do it for how to check for their Honeybook tasks, how to complete various tasks. Because while in a sense, checking Honeybook tasks should be universal for the most part, but every client has their own brand, voice, and how they communicate in a sense. Like we're almost ghostwriting for them. So yes, there's a base level. Here's how you check to see if there's any tasks due, but their workflows are slightly different because they have their own unique way of doing things and want to show up for their clients. So I do videos for each and every one of them, and I'm sharing it. So my goal is by October 1st, I can have a full CEO week where I'm not feeling compelled to open every single client's window on anything. I can do it from my bird's eye view and feel comfortable and confident that, okay, everyone's been trained on the things.
And that goes back to continuous learning. If you have a team, you should invest in your team. One of the teams I work with, I'm always investing my time to make sure that they have everything that they need, because as the team manager, I want to ensure that the team is set up for success. Because if they cannot come to me, then how would they learn? Usually when you hire somebody to your team, they should have a certain skill set. But as your business grows, then you want to obviously train your team and invest your time into helping them grow with you.
One thing I like with my team is any resources that I purchase, I do share with my team, because essentially these are skills that I want them and need them to have. But I also encourage feedback, like how we were talking earlier about open communication for sharing ideas. I also let them share courses that they're interested in. And I typically, especially if it aligns with the business and the clients that we serve, will pay for half of it so that they can get the trainings that they want and need to be better virtual assistants or graphic designers or whatever it is that they're working on. But then it also makes my team stronger and better because, one, we have access to it too, but now they are confident in getting more things done, and I can offer that to my current and future clients.
Networking and collaboration is going to help your business grow. Again, when we talked about being curious and asking questions, when you attend networking events, you're able to connect with other people, other individuals that have a mindset like you, because as you grow, you need those people. It's difficult to have an online business because online space, you're trying to meet people through like your social media channels. You're trying to connect with individuals on there. But in my experience, I've found that going to networking events and having conversations helps me with my marketing, with getting my name out there, opposed to posting something on social media.
I think with that too, unless you are already in sales, I know this worked for me. I need people to talk to. I love connecting with people, but I have a hard time talking about myself and the things that I am doing. So when I started networking in person, it was honestly just good practice for me for when I was doing coffee chats and fine-tuning the things I share, when I share them, and how I share them. Because most of the time, again, it's not really what you say, it's how you say it. So each week I go to these things, at least I try to go every week, and I connect with people in real time. So I get to see their facial expressions and their mannerisms of how they react when I'm speaking and sharing things. If the whole room is sitting there and they look bored with me talking about this certain aspect of my service, I'm probably not going to mention it during a coffee chat. So I think just on that aspect of you being intentional of fine-tuning how you talk to people and what you're sharing and get their immediate feedback is perfect on setting that objective and collaborating to those ideas and getting their immediate feedback. All right, if you were this person, how would you react?
I think they're fun. One, it gets me out of the house. Like being able to interact with people out of the house, it's pretty fun. And you never know. You never know who you're going to meet. Lastly, celebrate your achievements. Celebrate you. I know we talked about this in a prior episode with one of our guests where we don't celebrate our achievements at all. And I think that's when like the hashtag, what is it, Win Wednesday or something? Or when people are like, share your wins, like I think that's like share your wins. I think that helps with motivation too, because when you share your win, people see that and like celebrate with you. To me, I think that's really cool. When we started this podcast, I was telling everybody we have a podcast, and I think it's cool. And then another thing too, like celebrate your team's achievements. Hey, you're doing a great job on this. Good job, or whatever, however you want to relay that message to your team. Because again, how would they know? They can do a task and they just turn it in and then go on about their day. But when you tell your team, like, you rocked today, you did a great job. Oh, I like the blog post you wrote, or whatever it is. And it gives your team a boost of confidence as well.
I think it also helps you retrain your outlook on entrepreneurship with, if you celebrate those wins, even if they're small, when you're in a low period or you don't have a lot of, like, you're in a slow season in your business, but you're still actively looking for a win, then it will carry you through that season until you're busy again. So with weddings, there's an engagement season, depending on the geographical area you're in. If you're in the mountains, odds are you're going to have a slow period in the winter time where you don't have as many weddings to manage and create. So looking for ways to celebrate those wins, even if it's, oh, I got all of my social media scheduled. I have updated my website. I redid the metadata descriptions on the images on my website or in my gallery. Something that you can feel confident that you're still moving the needle forward, even if that means right now, this week, this day, you have not booked a client. A client of mine, she is a wedding planner. And for the last few months, it wasn't just her, but others in her area that are in different niches within the wedding industry don't have hardly any bookings going into 2024, which is scary. Going into a new year and you don't have funds coming in. So we collaborated, and instead of focusing on that one negative, even though it feels big, we are celebrating in a way the small wins. She's been doing styled editorials. We are updating her website. We're reorganizing even how her galleries are. We are updating the metadata descriptions so that as engagement season approaches, women, men, couples are going to be searching for certain keywords that they at least want to start with their wedding planning and designing so that they naturally find her. We are building her Pinterest strategy. We're implementing a lot of local SEO. She's doing networking events. She's now president of a networking group. Like, she's actively taking steps to grow her business, even though this scary thing is looming over. And it's worked. She now officially has 1 or 2 2024 clients, and she only serves 10 a year. So
that's great.
She is doing really well right now. But it was scary for a time, but we chose the positive celebrating, and it really transitioned how everything ran in her business.
That's awesome. Just keep at it, especially if you're like on a downtime. I know during the holidays last year, like, I had a lot of downtime. So obviously I was researching and like doing things on the back end to make sure that I was set up for the new year. Now, you all are creative in your own ways. Don't ever feel the pressure to think that you have to be like everyone else, because I think if you are creative and are not like everybody else, you will stand out. Starting and growing a business can be challenging, but know your why. If you've been sitting on a new idea for too long, get it out there, create that list, launch the new thing that you have, workshops, podcasts, your blog, whatever it may be, and then check on your entrepreneur friends and have conversations and just have fun.
Check on us. We are not okay right now. Just kidding. We're doing just fine. We're still swimming along.
Yeah. I mean, no, seriously, like, having conversations. It's like, we are here for you. If you have a question, reach out. We will gladly help you with this journey of business ownership.
So with that in mind, if our listeners are still with us, one of the things that we are working on to support you in starting and growing your business is workshops. We are adding a monthly workshop to our Facebook group and our LinkedIn group. won't go live in the group. It will be out of it. But the upcoming one Sarah's going to give is September 28th. Details to follow, but it will be why soft skills are important in the workplace. And then next month in October, I will be doing a workshop on keyword research on Pinterest and why that's important and how you can implement that into your marketing strategy. Bonus points, it's free. And then, as always, stay tuned for next week. We're going to take this topic of creativity and productivity and entrepreneurship, but add a spin for those that are balancing business ownership and professional life with having ADD or ADHD. We'll have a lot of resources available that we're going to share and kind of work through for you. And hopefully that can help you feel more balanced and less overwhelmed as you're on your journey.
As always, the information is in our show notes. Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.